known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
And here we go, guys. It is now Thursday, January the 21st. Welcome in. It's another edition of the College Basketball Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. And we've got our 4 games plus our best bets. Plus, we'll take a look at the Gold Sheet play of the day. 4 really good games, too, today on the card, which will include Southern Cal at Stanford. We'll take a look at Iowa, Indiana. This is going to be interesting. The Shockers, that's what a shocker looks like, taking on Memphis and Arizona, the battle. Arizona taking on Arizona State. Plus, we're going to sprinkle in, like I said, a couple of best bets here for you. Let's take a look at the panel that we got here today. Loaded once again. He came back. We didn't think he would. But after he picked Utah last week, he figured he had to come back and talk about it. Marco D'Angelo back in. Ralph Michaels, welcome back. Had a day off yesterday. Dave COKIN with us once again. Take a look at the Twitter handles here, guys. All of them very entertaining, very informative Twitter follows, including Marco in Vegas, at CalSportsLI, and, of course, Dave, at Dave COKIN. And, Marco, welcome back, my friend. I'll start with you. Last we spoke, you were talking about Utah, and it's funny that we're going to talk a little bit about them here today. Well, actually, no, that's not the game on here, but I do want to get your thoughts about them. What have you been up to? What's going on at Wager Talk, and how has college hoops been treating you?
Well, I'll be totally honest. I had a bad week last week in basketball. Football's been running super, but we got off the snide last night, a nice 3-0 night for us with our selections last night. So looking to continue the winning ways for 2021. And, yeah, the Utah play last week was nice. And my buddy Ralph really, busted my basketballs last week on the show. And I contemplated not coming back, but I got to keep my best bet record going. I've done 2 shows. We're 2-0 on best bets. I'm looking to make it 3-0 this week.
Michaels has got that problem, man. He just rubs people the wrong way. I don't know what it is. Dave COKIN, my friend, yesterday when we spoke to you, Boise State was what you talked about here on the show. That was a great win yesterday. What do you got going on tonight? How was the rest of your evening?
The good stuff, the higher rated stuff, the 4% and 5% plays have been really good. So far, 2021, 20 wins and 8 losses, covering all sports. So I guess I'm looking at the leaderboard. Number 2 in 4% plays at 18 and 8. And what am I on 5% plays? Number 3 at 2-0. So somebody's doing even better than that. But I can't argue with those numbers. And I do have a best bet up tonight. So excited about that. It's in the NHL. Just a quick note on the NHL. I've only had 3 losers since the start of the season. So hockey's been good. And all 3 of those games, I was up 3-1 and blew the lead and lost in overtime. So the reads on the ice have been really good so far. Basketball, the big plays have been good. The small plays have been garbage. And I have 1 small play up today, so it's probably garbage.
I love it. Glass is half full here, COKIN. You know that. Ralph Michaels, how are you, my friend? Nice day off yesterday from the show. We missed you. Of course, our hearts were with you. What did you do last night? What do you got going on in basketball today?
Oh, yesterday was just a pissed off day because I had a 5% play on Tuesday on Winthrop, and they came up a basket short. So still a 13-6 run in college hoops, 67%. And like Dave, my best bets in college basketball, my 4% plays on a 10-1 run, 4% college basketball plays this year on the season, 27-13. I have 5 college plays up today, and included is a best bet.
Loaded card there from Ralph Michaels. Dave, ready to go. Marco locked and loaded. Guys, opportunity for you to head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Build your own team. This is one of the cool promotions happening right now. You can go ahead, up to 3 handicappers of your choice. Save yourself over 55% on that. Get 30 days all access, 2 or 3 handicappers, your favorites. Why not these 3 gentlemen on the show right now? Take advantage of the opportunity. Put your best team together right now at WagerTalk.com. Let's take a quick look before we dive into our first game here. We're going to look at Southern Cal and Stanford, but let's take a look at last night's top performances. Some interesting games on the card last night, Ralph, and that, we talked about it here on the show, Ralph. Georgia Tech, Clemson. We weren't sure what we were going to get from Georgia Tech after that layoff there because of the COVID issues, but I think we got our answer there. That was a pretty impressive showing. Clemson, that's 2 games in a row now they've gotten blown out.
Yeah, Josh Pastner's doing a nice job at Georgia Tech. I mean, Georgia Tech started the state losing the little brothers back-to-back games of Georgia State and Mercer, and since that time, the only loss is Florida State. So they're a team to keep an eye on. It's a well-coached team that's starting to play very well together.
Take a look at some of those top covers there from yesterday, too. Loyola taking Valpo. Gardner-Webb, too, with a blowout. That was almost a pick-em there, and that was the big 25.5 point cover. But maybe the thing I didn't see coming was that Washington-Colorado game, 12.5 points. And as Dave COKIN had put it, Washington sucks. They do suck, and they're not any better because they beat Colorado. But Dave, I was joking about that game yesterday, but the reality was they came out and they whooped up on Colorado a little.
Yeah, Colorado's got to learn to take every game seriously because there's no excuse for them losing to Washington. Huskies have started to come together a little bit, though. They've played better in the last few games. So they could start, they're not going to be really good by any means, but they're better than their record shows. So maybe they're sucking less now.
Impressive, certainly impressive win yesterday on the road there in Colorado, and of course some of the totals, overs and unders yesterday too as well. And there were some big numbers yesterday too that were on the board. But look at that, Washington, Colorado certainly worth taking a look at as they both scored in the 80s. But that Georgia Kentucky game, Ralph, was one that we thought we might see some points, but we didn't get any points last night in that game. 147 under by 22.
Yeah, you see Washington up there. On Wager Talk today, I broke down the top conference ATS positives and negatives and the overs and unders. This Washington team now in Pac-12 action, 8-1 to the over. So we're used to last year's team with Mike Hopkins playing the Syracuse zone defense and playing a slow tempo. He's let these kids run on offense because he's got some guys that can run. So I'll put that list up on Twitter. But, yeah, there's some surprising overs where teams have changed complete concepts this year with this COVID season.
Yep, absolutely. Worth taking a note. Go ahead, Dick.
Quick note on Kentucky. I mean, just can't shoot. 1 for 13 on threes. And you can't win in college basketball these days if you can't shoot some 3 balls. And this Kentucky team, I mean, last night was really bad, but they don't have anybody who can shoot the ball from outside. I mean, it wasn't a complete aberration. I mean, this is one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. Hard to believe that Calipari apparently just could not recruit a guy who can put the ball in the basket.
Seems to be the issue with North Carolina as well this year. Just that they don't have any shooters. It's kind of crazy, but that's all right. Give some of the other guys a chance, including these 2 teams today that we'll start off with. Southern Cal taking on Stanford, and some injury news in this game, guys, that you need to know about. They are going to be out without Zaire Williams today against USC. The Cardinals still without Bryce Wills, I believe. Also, Davis is also out. So some of these teams, both of these teams are having some injuries and some issues right now, keeping guys available for the court. I saw 2, 1.5, 2. It's kind of all over the map now. And Dave, you did a great job. Yeah, you did a great job on Wager Talk today breaking this game down. So I'll start with you, my friend. It's a tough game to go, and now it opens up there, and now we see it all the way up to, it started at 5, then it was coming back. It's all over the map because of the injury reports.
Yeah, it's not injuries. That's the thing. There's a couple of guys who are hurt, but there's a lot of rumors just flying all over the place. It's all the way up to 6 now. Williams apparently went home for a funeral, and now word is, and this isn't something I can verify, but what I'm hearing is he's not coming back. Davis has apparently left the team. Whether it's permanent or not, I don't know. They got a couple other guys hurt, so I just crossed the game off because for two reasons. Number one, I don't know who's going to be out there. Number two, we talked about this on Wager Talk today. It's the odds makers have the same information, and they've adjusted the number, and everybody's piling on USC. But how many times have we seen this where a team is very short-handed? We saw it during football season. We've already seen it during basketball season. For a game or two, the rest of the team plays really well. I mean, it eventually catches up with them. But I can't. I would not be taking USC. I don't want Stanford because I don't know who's going to be on the court. But I wouldn't be playing USC at this number.
Yeah, and Ralph, it doesn't help that USC is horrific from the foul line too. When you start looking at 6 points, 5, 6, 7 point that you have to lay with USC, how do you have them in this game against Stanford?
The thing to remember now is USC has pressure. There was so much talk, well, if we do this, this, and this, we're a March Madness team. Losing to Oregon State was a big deal. They now look and they're pressured to win this game. Stanford off back-to-back losses, and those that don't know, I mean, Stanford doesn't get five-star recruits like Zaire Williams very often. It's, it's something special. But let's not forget, this team is also a top 15 team in terms of defense. So you have a team like USC that is off a second straight road game in 2 days, pressure to play, couple guys banged up, playing away from home in a venue you've never played before. Because remember, Stanford's not playing in their normal home either because of COVID issues. So you're playing in a brand new venue for the first time against the top 15 defense. I agree with Dave. Despite those losses on the Stanford side, hey, they still have the Silva playing, and they are still that good at defense.
Yeah. Marco, it's tough. It's been tough, not just with this game all season long here, but when you hear about who's there, who's not going to be there, which way you leaning in this game, USC versus Stanford, as the number has reached 6? I'm even seeing a 6.5 now pop up.
Yeah, guys, I'm a night owl. Dave is a night owl also. A lot of times we see things coming across, sending emails at night, late at night. And I was working on this game last night. And the first thing I looked at, I mean, this news wasn't available last night, but I can tell you, somebody always knows something because, as you said, this line opened up and it was bet immediately. USC took money. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why is all this money coming in? And then we find out and get the confirmation this morning. So, again, somebody knew something and the money started, and then everybody started following the money, as we like to say, steam chasers. But I agree with the panel. This line is up too much. I think it's, you don't want to say it's an overreaction because now you're talking about 3 of their top 5 scorers out of the lineup tonight. That's, a little bit tougher to deal with. We talk about the injured player theory where the other guys, step it up. But when you start to get into a cluster of injuries, sometimes you got to take a step back. What I will tell you, with the inflated line and with the history, Stanford, this is only their 3rd true home game. And as Ralph just said, it's not really their home, but it's where they're playing. And it's only their 4th. I'm sorry, they played 3. And history has shown in this series that Stanford at home has had USC's number. They're 17-4 against them straight up at home the last 21 visits. Now, none of that has anything to do with this team, but if you like to look at history, it's there. If you also want to look at history, the Stanford coach, when all games that he has coached, when he's been a home underdog of 6 or less, how about 17-5 against the spread? With the inflated number, and for that one game, let's see if the rest of the team can pick it up a notch, and just simply the fact that I'm not sold on USC yet, I'm going to look to the dog here if I play the game. It's not a game that I probably get to the window with my clients, but Stanford is the side I'm at.
Stanford it is. 5 o'clock Eastern time, I believe, for the tip on that game, guys. We'll shift our attention over to Big Ten. We'll talk a little Indiana versus Iowa, a mismatch of sorts here. Certainly 2 teams that feel like they're going in complete opposite directions. It 10 now. I showed a number here, Ralph, of 15 and a half at an initial open. I'm seeing 10 total at 150 and a half as an open, now rising to 151. Listen, we know Iowa, I believe, number 3 in Ken Palm, certainly really starting to come together at the right time. Indiana, not so much. Double digits in this spot, Iowa City. You trust Iowa to get the job done by double digits?
Yeah, I mean, with the line coming down at 10, I started to bring it back in the mix. I didn't finally get there, but, what's not to like about this Iowa team? They've covered every game this year with the exception of at Minnesota and Gonzaga. And, when you have a player of the year caliber guy like Garza who's averaging 27 points and 9 rebounds, and then you got guys that shoot the threes because he draws so much interest inside. You have a team that's, 22-1 at home. They don't lose at home. And you have an Indiana team that is just, not the same. They're really struggling. And, you look at, they're getting out rebounded bad. The only way I could play this game is Iowa. And, I want to jump back 1 second on something Marco said about that last game. And Marco, you talked about an injury system, which I believe that when the first game after a player gets hurt, the team does rebound for Stanford. But I don't believe this is an injury system game because their teammates, this guy left their teammates high and dry. Yeah. That's much different than getting hurt. So I think there could be a negative attitude because of that. They think he departed and left, deserted them, where I think that's a different mentality.
I agree with that completely. And I absolutely am going to watch USC Stanford because I want to see what the Stanford chemistry looks like. They could be a team that could completely unravel. We'll have to wait and see. As far as Indiana and Iowa goes, Indiana in a sense, it's not players departing or anything like that, but they could be a team that's ready to unravel as well. That's a bad loss to Purdue. I think it's 7 losses in a row now in that series, and they're starting to be. It's not, look at Indiana. Anytime they're not performing up to snuff, that coach has got to go. But I think I know Archie Miller is only in his 4th year there, I believe. I'm not 100% sure he's secure. I think there could be. I think he's starting to approach hot seat level because Indiana needs to be winning at basketball, and they're just kind of not doing it. They're 8-6 overall, which isn't very impressive. Their best win, they beat Providence, they beat Stanford, they did beat Maryland. That's, I guess, their best win. But there's nothing really outstanding there. I mean, they against the better opposition, top 50 teams, they don't have a single win. Texas bombed them. Florida State was an overtime loss, but the Florida State team then wasn't as good as it is now. They lost to Northwestern. Illinois handled them pretty easily. Wisconsin, good performance, but they lost that one. And then the Purdue game, they're just not a team. They're just not a go-with team right now. Iowa at home, team's a monster. And they're a team that feels like they have a chance to be a number 1 seed. I can't get in the Hawkeyes' way here.
Consistency on offense, a problem with Indiana, Marco. Iowa's just a freight train right now. Maybe it's 10 for a full game. Maybe a first half look at Iowa. How are you going to approach this game tonight?
Well, I agree with everything the guy said. I'm not going to step in front of this Iowa, bandwagon. They're rolling on all cylinders. And you talk about scoring. Only one team in the country scores more per game than them, and that is Gonzaga. Iowa's scoring 92 points a game, 49% from the field. They shoot the basketball. So with that said, I'm going to look at the total, but I'm not going to go to what you might think be the obvious. If this team averages 92 points a game and we got a total of 152, that looks kind of easy to go to the over route. I'm going to go the other way. You need 2 teams to get to a total if you're talking about the over. And Indiana just too often seems to struggle to score points. In fact, they've scored 69 or less in 5 of their last 8 games. One of the 3 that they didn't was an overtime game that they got over that number. I just think that this is a spot, if Indiana comes in here and thinks they have any shot at all, they got to do it on the defensive end. They got to try to slow down Iowa. And I got a couple stats that does support that. We talked about Archie Miller and the problems there. He's not getting the job done. One thing that has happened following a game in which they've had a loss by 10 points or more since he's been at Indiana, they've gone 15-5 to the under in the next game. And Indiana overall is an underdog the last 2 seasons, has played 11-3 to the under. So for me, I'm going to take a look at the under in this game. If you look at what the average totals are for these two teams, they put this total closer to the Iowa numbers than what Indiana's totals are. And again, like I said, you need 2 teams to contribute when you're looking at the over. So I'm going to go ahead and take the under here, under the 152.
Under 152.
Hey, Joe, can I?
Yes, go ahead, Ralph.
Can I just chime in there? You know, Marco was talking about those totals. I just want to mention, guys, the new Wager Talk odds page is amazing. Just go to WagerTalk.com, look at the live odds. You go to college basketball, it'll have first half, it has team totals. So, for instance, from Pinnacle, the team total in this game is Iowa 79.5, Indiana 69.5. So we're talking about teams and we're talking about sides and totals. You know, also take a look at that live odds screen and you can get an idea where the team totals are. It's pretty easy to figure out. You subtract the spread, divide it in half, add the spread back in. But as the night progresses, you can see which way the money has gone on those individual team totals as well.
Yeah, it's come a long way, guys, too. It's amazing if you haven't had a chance to get there. WagerTalk.com. Just look at that live lines page. It's awesome. Also, while you're there, make sure you check out all 3 of these gentlemen here. Marco D'Angelo, Dave, Kokin, Ralph, Michaels. Put your own team together, guys. Do it. 30 days, all access. 2 or 3 of your favorite handicappers there at a 55% discount for 30 days. You can't go wrong there. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Plus, the cards are loaded for tonight as we get ready for a busy weekend. Let's take a look at our next game here. Wichita State taking on Memphis. Interesting game here. Marco, I'm going to start with you. I'm seeing 3.5s after Memphis opening up at 3 at home, taking on the Shockers. But some people feel the wrong team is favored in this one, especially when you look against the number right now. Memphis, just awful. I mean, they're 0 for 7 against the number in their last 7. You got Wichita State 6-0-1, and Ralph on Wager Talk today, part of his segment today was talking about how Wichita State's all the way at the top against the number. Memphis is all the way at the bottom. How do you see this? Do you think the wrong team is favored in this one, Marco?
Well, what's going on here is Memphis has just not had any continuity. Their season has been interrupted a couple times. And most recently, they had, I think it was like a 19-day stretch in between games. They returned on Sunday to play at Tulsa. Now, I want to point out that although they had a 19-day gap between games because of COVID issues, it wasn't their fault. The situations were with the other teams. So this team has been practicing, and when they returned on Sunday, they opened up a small dog. And they went off a small favorite. They took a lot of love on Sunday and ended up missing by a point in that game. I'm going to throw a horse racing term out there for you guys. A lot of times, second start off the layoff, you expect more. If they were a little bit rusty off of the layoff, they got a game under their belt. Now they're returning home, and it's a big game. They're playing Wichita State. I'm going to go ahead and look for them to get the job done. And to stay with the horse racing theme, this is the second start off the layoff, and it's also a beaten favorite. As I said, they took a lot of love on Sunday. Somebody liked them, and I don't think they were a public play because, as you said, their against the spread record is atrocious this year. So the public wouldn't be betting them. Some people thought the same thing maybe that I am thinking, that this team, we haven't seen the true Memphis squad. And if you look back to the beginning of December, and it's the only part of the season since the first 3 games of the season when they played 3 games in 3 days in a tournament, that they played a normal schedule. They did win 4 out of 5 of those games straight up. I think second start, we're going to see a better effort out of them. It's a big conference game. I'll go ahead. I'll take Memphis tonight. This is one of those ones where it's sitting at 3. I thought we would see some money come in on the Wichita State side and get it maybe down to the 2.5 or 2, and then I would definitely go money line here. But I do like Memphis. Maybe split the bet up, money line and -3. Take Memphis tonight.
Ralph, I'll let you expand on what you said, but I will say this: that Tulsa game, 21 turnovers for them in that game. They're not going to beat anybody if they turn the ball over 29 times and only 9 assists. So, Ralph, where are you right now with this Memphis squad?
Well, we talked about Memphis a couple weeks ago, and I mentioned that when Penny Hardaway makes quotes, he is one of those you can read his quote and you can basically bet on what he says. He's very, very honest when he talks about it. He talked about early how he didn't have any point guards. He even started his son one game, and he said, there's no one on this team that can play point guards. He then said they're going to switch offenses, almost play a Princeton-style offense and pass the ball around. Well, the first game they did that was Tulsa, and as you mentioned, 21 turnovers is not good for this new offensive scheme. But I will say this. Playing your first live game against Tulsa on the road, which is a much better defense than Wichita State, is much different than playing that new motion offense at home here. Remember, Wichita State, Greg Marshall left in November. The assistant took over. The interim thought they'd be down a few notches, but they've exceeded everyone's expectations here in this run. I think Memphis's offense does get a little better. That means slower the pace. We know the Memphis defense is playing solid. Memphis has gone under the total 5 of the last 6 games. And I actually used as one of my client plays today, I'll give you another best bet as well, but I used under in the first half in this game. I think Memphis gets their offense in flow, but it takes a while. I think their defense shuts Wichita State down early. I don't have to worry about teams fouling late. So, again, one of my client plays today is under first half in this matchup.
Where are you at, Dave, on Memphis at this point of the season?
I don't want any part of them. They started the season as the number 30 ranked team. Or was it 39, I guess it was. And now they're all the way down to 71. I've said this about Penny. I know I've said it a few times. I think he's going to recruit a lot of good players. I don't think he can coach them. At least not yet. His inexperience has really shown. Their offense is horrible. Right now, they're a team with great athletes. I mean, they're athletically, they're probably one of the, 10 or 20 best teams in the country in terms of pure athletic ability. And it shows on the defensive end. But they don't know what they're doing on offense. I don't know how else to say it. They just don't know what they're doing on offense. And until I see some positive signs, there's not a chance in the world I can play Memphis. Wichita, we didn't know what to expect from Wichita with the Greg Marshall situation coming into the season. But they do seem to have straightened things out. I don't think you're getting any. I don't think this is playable at the number because the number is caught up to both teams, basically. Wichita State is starting to get respected by the market and the odds makers, and Memphis is going the other direction. That's why this number is so short now. But not with my money. I don't want any part of Memphis. So it'd be Wichita State or pass for me, and it'll be a pass.
All right, there you go. And one final game on the card here, guys, before we get to our best bet section. And that's going to be Arizona versus Arizona State as the Wildcats heading over to Tempe to take on the Sun Devils. This is going to be the game one of a back-to-back. Both teams coming from Oregon, where the Oregon games that they had scheduled were canceled for COVID reasons because of Oregon, but the Oregon State games went off. And Arizona dominated Oregon State. I think it was 98-64. That was last Thursday. Arizona State lost to them last Saturday, 80-79. So, Dave, I'll come back to you here. Arizona State not necessarily living up to expectations this year. Much like Auburn we talked about yesterday, what exactly are they playing for? Arizona, what are they playing for? Who do you trust more in this matchup?
Well, Arizona's playing for nothing. They're not going to be in the tournament this year. I would think that they'll be excited about this because it's a rivalry game. Arizona State is having a lot of struggles. It just isn't coming together for them. But the good news is it looks like they'll have, I think basically everybody's back tonight. I believe Graham is going to be back on the floor tonight. So that helps with the size because that's been a big problem for them with the player absences. That they just don't have any bulk on the inside. They do now. I think Arizona State's going to be pretty fired up for this basketball game. I'm not sure about Arizona. They've had some good games, and they've had some that have been pretty bad. The Oregon State game was good, but Oregon State can't play at all. The USC and UCLA games were on their home court, and they got knocked around pretty good in those two games. I think Arizona State pulls this one out. Close game. I think it'll be a good watch. I'm going to lean to the Sun Devils, though.
Leaning Arizona State there. Marco, where do you have these two teams rated right now?
Well, Arizona State, as Dave said, has been playing some ugly basketball. They've lost 4 in a row straight up. They're just 1-9 against the spread for the year. So it's kind of hard to, swallow them. But it is a rivalry. And, for me, when I look at rivalry games, you got to throw the stats out because you see strange things happen, especially with the home underdogs. But I'll throw it to my esteemed colleagues here. How much do you put on the rivalry games this year without having, the fans that you normally would have that would, fire the home team up? How much, stock do you put in that? I'm still going to go there because I got to handicap the games the way I always handicap them, and that's going to put me on the home dog here. Also, I can tell you this is a game that the books will be rooting for Arizona State, immensely, because people are going to look, and as you mentioned, both teams, we got a little bit of an oddity. Their last game came against the same team with very different results. As Arizona had an easy win, and Arizona State, again, played a bad game, lost by 1. But when you look at one team wins by 34 and the other team loses outright, and now you've got a line where, this line was sitting at 2.5 last night. It's up to 3 in spots today. Basically, it's just pick the winner. That's a little bit too easy for my liking when you see a game like that, especially with a team like Arizona, given the situation this year of you got to question motivation throughout the year with nothing to play for in a year that is like no other because of the COVID and the scheduling and such. I'll give you a stat here. Arizona's had the better team over Arizona State, in most years. So going back the last couple decades, the dominance of Arizona, you would think, would be lopsided. But when they play at Arizona State, Arizona's just 12-11 against the spread the last 23 years. Also, Coach Hurley, Bobby Hurley, in home games since he's been coach at Arizona State, following a game where they gave up 80 points or more, they're 17-8 against the spread. This is one of those ones where when you go to the window, you either put the dark sunglasses on or you hold your nose as you're telling the teller, give me Arizona State +3. But sometimes, guys, the toughest games to walk to the window and make the wager on are the best ones. Give me Arizona State plus the points.
Oof.
Joe, you have to let me call him out. You have to.
I was just going to say, go ahead.
Let's rewind this. 4 minutes ago, he asked Dave and I a question, and then he talked for 4 minutes and forgot he asked us the damn question. Yeah, come on.
Is this how you hold your pen?
Hey, he's got a pen for you, Michaels. He's got a pen for you.
Okay, so now let me answer his question, then we'll go to Dave. The question Marco asked, if you guys forget, you can rewind it or I'll remind you. How are we handling the rivalry games with home edge? When they're a true in-state, I think there is a legitimate rival. And I think Dave's point that brought up is the biggest point in this game, is that Arizona is not going to March Madness. They have everything to play for in this regular season. To me, that gives Arizona a point or a 2-point edge in this series. Dave?
I already talked about this game. I know it was a long time ago.
No, I guess on Marco's question.
No, home court
rivalry and home edge.
Rivalry, home court.
Oh, I don't know. It varies from one to another. The home court advantages do still exist, but it's not. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I think for Arizona State, it's somewhat significant because they've got one of the best gimmicks of any home court in the country, that curtain of distraction. I mean, I watched Arizona State games just to see what antics they were going to pull when the other team's shooting free throws, and that's not there anymore. That's too bad. That's one of the most unique things in any sport is the curtain of distraction they came up with at Arizona State. I hope the fans are back soon just for that, because I mean, it was hilarious. It was some of the funniest stuff you ever seen on TV.
That's
I'm gonna say this about this game. I look at Arizona, and they did not have to play this past weekend. Coach gave them off Saturday and Sunday. The players came back and said it was a couple of the best practices they had. I think that's a big deal. The Arizona State team, am I going to look at that Oregon State and say the loss was horrible? Well, you have to remember, Remy Martin missed a few games. He came back. He was 0 for 8 shooting three-pointers. Remy Martin's not going to be 0 for 8 shooting three-pointers, but he was 7 assists and no turnovers, so that offense is going to start coming back. Dave did talk about Chamberlain, who's coming back. He started the first 7 games, and Jalen Graham. He started the first 7 games, hasn't played because he had mono. He is back tonight as well. So it's a different Arizona State team. I actually like Arizona tonight. I think Arizona State wins again on Monday. This Monday game was supposed to be at the end of the year, but the Pac-12 cleared up the entire final weekend and going to make these guys play back-to-back. So this wasn't a back-to-back scheduled situation. It just occurred in the last few days. I think Arizona gets it done today. And Marco talked about long-term records. The records that matter to me the last couple years, Arizona State has won 3 out of 4, so they don't lack confidence in this series at all.
Yep, it's that game's going to be it's going to be interesting tonight. Arizona State. Like Ralph said, this is game 1 of a 2-game set. Next one is on Monday, so keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at our good friends at the Gold Sheet and what their play of the day is. They're looking at the shockers here, Ralph. Wichita State. As always, Ralph will have this up on his Twitter page there at CalSportsLV. But they're going Wichita State, Ralph. Memphis be damned in this one.
Yeah, I got a lot of pressure. I put up a loser yesterday, and people are swearing at me at Twitter. Why did I pick so poorly? So Wichita State, the Wager Talk play of the day. And again, at CalSportsLV to read that write-up as soon as the show's over.
All right, then let's get to our best bets here. We'll start around the horn. Dave, I'm going to go to you. Just a reminder, too, guys, Dave's best bets up and available right now at WagerTalk.com, as is Marco D'Angelo's, and, of course, Ralph Michaels. Got a big college basketball slate and package available for you guys right now. So, Dave, where are you going tonight? What's your best bet here in college hoop?
I look at the Pacific Pepperdine game. And Pepperdine's season might be getting away from them. Look, I've never been a big Lorenzo Romar guy. And, this team beat Irvine to start the year. Should have beaten UCLA, let it get away. Should have beaten San Diego State, let it get away. And since then, it's been a steady decline. They did beat Portland in their last game, but, it's Portland. The big problem is Colby Ross, who is a really good player, is not having a great season. Pepperdine, and as Ross goes, I think so goes the team. I think the wrong team's favored. I think Pacific has a very good chance to win this game on the road. They're just playing better basketball than Pepperdine. They lost to Nevada. I'm not going to say that they're a great team, but they are 5-1. And to me, Stoudemire's got the team playing with a positive attitude, and I'm not sure the same holds true for Pepperdine, which is now starting to fall into the disappointment category, if you will. So I like Pacific as a small dog in that game.
All right, love it. Ralph, let's go, my man. I know you said you got a big card up there tonight at WagerTalk.com. What's your best bet here on the show?
Well, as I said, one of my plays to my clients was that halftime game for Wichita State. I'm going to give out another actual client play today. So 2 of the 5 that I did release. Game 738, 3-star Morehead State -6. Morehead State's a 9-6 team against the number 171 schedule. Southeast Missouri State is 4-8 against the number 307 schedule. These 2 played on Saturday. Morehead State was -2 on the road Saturday, and they won wire to wire by 14. Now I'm only laying 4 points more against the team that's rested, while Southeast Missouri State, played Morehead State Saturday, and played another road game on Monday. So they're playing a third game in 6 days and a second straight road game. Excuse me, they played Tennessee State on Tuesday, so they're playing a back-to-back road game with 1 day rest against a much better rested team at home that dominated them in their last game. Game 738, Morehead State.
Morehead State it is. All right, love it. And Fat and Sassy, a.k.a. Marco D'Angelo, my man, what are we going with here? And a reminder, guys, of course, make sure you're visiting Marco's page at WagerTalk.com. What's the best bet here, Marco?
Did you know I'm going with a Fat and Sassy play?
I knew it was coming. I knew it was either that or a chicken wing, my man. I knew what was coming.
Yeah. Have I ever explained what Fat and Sassy is? Oh, no. Just go back to last week. This is the Fat and Sassy play of all time, and it's coupled with a sandwich spot. So you're getting all, if you follow the NFL show that we do, bet on it, you know all about Fat and Sassy and sandwich games. I'm taking Colorado State tonight. And guys, if Utah State can bring it and deliver it again tonight, God bless them, because this is the ultimate flat spot for a team in college basketball. They are coming off playing San Diego State, the back-to-back games last weekend, and got the job done. They did the Thursday to Saturday, and they won both games. And I said on the show, I was going to use San Diego State big if they lost that first meeting. I did give it to my clients, and I did lead covered the game all the way till the end, catching 4, lose by 5. All right, they got me. Well, I'm coming back for more tonight. They just blew out Colorado State 2 days ago. They play them again tonight. More importantly, after that weekend with San Diego State, which was the big test for Utah State, then they answer and blow out Colorado State. And if you look at the game from the first meeting here 2 days ago, they played an absolutely perfect game. They shot 52% from three-point range. They also had 10 more foul shots, 19 more rebounds. And of those rebounds, they had a 12-4 edge on the offensive boards. You can't play any better than they played in that game. So why am I going to go against them tonight? Well, it's because they are fat and sassy after those last 3 big wins. And look at the schedule. Look what is on deck on Saturday. They got to go to Boise State. And Boise State is the only other team right now in their way in the conference. They're both undefeated at 9-0. Yeah, they're looking ahead. I'll go ahead and take Colorado State plus the points. And if you want to say, hey, was the altitude a little bit of a problem in the first game? Maybe. But the fact that you're playing back-to-back games there and you had a day off, you got a little extra time to get acclimated. I'll take Colorado State plus the points. And this is actually one of my plays on my all-access package for the clients tonight.
All right, good stuff. Marco, Dave COKIN, of course, and Ralph Michaels at WagerTalk.com. Remember this name here, guys, Terry Taylor, because when we're talking about him tomorrow in the best performances, it's going to be because Austin Peay blows out Tennessee Tech tonight. Lay the 11.5. The kid is a man among boys right now, leading. I think he's top 5 in double-doubles in the country. He's going to have another one tonight, so I'll take Austin Peay, lay the 11.5 in the Ohio Valley tonight. Let's take a look at those best bets. Ralph going Morehead State, laying the 6. COKIN going Pacific as a slight dog here tonight, getting the 3. Marco also says, give me the points in Colorado State. I'm going to go chalk. Give me Austin Peay, lay the 11.5. The Gold Sheet likes Wichita State. The Shockers going with 3.5 here tonight. And, of course, guys, WagerTalk.com. That's where you want to head right now. Marco, Dave, and Ralph Michaels. Plays are locked and loaded, ready to go. Grab yourself those all-access packages, whether it be 3 days, 7 days, or, heck, put them all together on a team. Pick your team right now at WagerTalk.com. 30 days all-access from your favorite handicappers. You can save up to 55% right now by putting your own team together. So, Marco, appreciate the time, my friend. Dave, as always, Ralph Michaels, best of luck with the plays, guys. Make sure you hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, but come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over again here on the College Basketball Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Have you ever wanted to create your own Wager Talk Dream Team? We're excited to announce you can build your own superstar handicapping lineup using our Pick Your Team program at WagerTalk.com. Even more exciting, for a limited time, you can save up to 55% on your favorite 2 or 3 handicappers and pay as little as $1.99 for a full month of picks. Dave COKIN, Marco D'Angelo, Yanni the Greek, Ralph Michaels, Teddy Covers, Hakeem Profit, Tony Finn, Rob Vino, Brian Leonard. The combinations are endless. Who will make your dream team lineup? Just go to WagerTalk.com, click Pick Your Team, and personally hand select your handicapping roster. Our Dream Team promotion is only being offered for a limited time before going back to regular price, so please make sure to take advantage of this incredible offer.